In these times when attention is becoming a commodity of increasing value, podcast advertising is emerging as a preferred mode for promoting products, services, or brands through airing audio advertisements within podcast episodes. It is a form of digital advertising that's taking advantage of the growing popularity and influence of podcasts. We have noticed that podcast advertising comes to us in various forms, including host read ads, pre-produced ads, or sponsored segments. Now, some may ask, what are the advantages of podcast advertising? Well, considering that podcasters cater to specific interests and niche topics, they create a conducive platform for advertisers to reach a highly targeted audience. So, it is becoming increasingly evident that podcast listeners are highly engaged, attentive, and constantly seeking content. So, by this, they are more likely to listen to ads within the podcast session. Additionally, hosts often develop strong rapport and trust with their audience. So when they recommend a product or service, it can have a significant impact on purchasing decisions of their listeners. We also find that the presence of less ad clutter in podcast episodes compared to other media channels works towards creating a higher chance of ads getting noticed and remembered by listeners, which means that advertisers can gain by working directly with podcast hosts or use podcast advertising networks that connect advertisers with suitable podcasts based on their target audience and budget. However, making money from podcast advertising involves several steps. But before we proceed, we recommend you subscribe to this channel, give this video a like, and leave a comment below. Also remember to turn on the notification bell. This will help us keep on producing more videos that may be of value to you. Now back to our topic of how to make money from podcast advertising. Well, initially, you must focus on building an audience of substantial magnitude, meaning in order to attract advertisers, you must grow your podcast audience, which is achievable by focusing on producing high quality content, promoting your podcast through various channels such as social media, your website, guest appearances on other podcasts, and collaborating with other podcasters in your niche. It is important to define your target audience because advertisers will be interested in reaching specific demographics or niche markets. So clearly identifying your target audience and gathering demographic data to showcase the value of your podcast to potential advertisers is crucial towards the success of your podcast. Once we get this far, it's time for creating an engaging media kit, which is an essential document that provides vital information about your podcast and its audience to potential advertisers. So take time to compile a well-organized media kit that includes details of your podcast niche, target audience, listener demographics, download numbers, social media reach, and other relevant metrics. Include testimonials, previous successful partnerships, and a compelling description of your podcast. Actively reach out to potential advertisers by identifying brands or businesses that align with your podcast's content and target audience. Start by reaching out to companies directly via email or through their marketing department. Remember to personalize your pitch and highlight how their products and services can benefit your audience. Also, networking at industry events or connecting with advertising agencies can also help you find potential advertisers. Keep in mind that by offering different ad formats to accommodate different ad budgets, you increase your chances of clinching more clients. Common formats include ad displayed at the beginning of the podcast, in the middle, or at the end. meaning you can offer sponsored segments where the content is related to the advertiser's product or service. Proceed to determine how you will charge your audience for advertising spots on your podcast. Common pricing methods include cost per thousand downloads, flat rates, or revenue sharing. Start by researching the industry standards and consider factors like your podcast reach, engagement, and production quality when setting your rates. It is clearly emerging that the advantages of podcast advertising are that the audience is normally focused on specific niche topics in line with their target market and demographics, thus ensuring the message reaches the right people. So when a podcast host endorses a product or service, this can have a significant impact on purchasing decisions of listeners. The personal touch adds credibility. Also, due to less clutter, podcast ads on podcasts are more likely to be noticed and remembered. This means that ads on podcasts can be quite effective. So with dedication, focus, tenacity, and hard work, you can build a successful podcast and earn a lucrative income from podcast advertising.